Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live episode of the Mike Prince Show, Sunday night edition, right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Of course, we come to you each and every day, Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we decided for the 2020, we come out with a little live twist with you on Sunday nights. Huge weekend in the world of NFL playoffs. Wow. Houston Texans. Wow. That was a rough one. At least I did make some redemption on my picks this week. Last week I was 1 for 3. This week I was a perfect 4 for 4. So that was good. FCS playoff championship, or should we say bowl championship game, featured James Madison and the North Dakota State Bison. And the Bison did it again, but JMU gave that one up. I don't know what it is about these guys with these spread offenses and these schemes. They want to pass the ball at the 2-yard line. You had, I want to say, 18, 19 seconds left in the game, a timeout or two left. Run the ball. Case closed. But it is what it is. Remind me of the Seahawks when they were in the Super Bowl. At that time, you had a much more effective beast mode, Lynch running, and they elect to pass, and, of course, the rest was history. As a result, that's what happened with James Madison. As a result, the Bison continued to roll. So the good thing about that is, even though I picked James Madison, the good thing about that is that now it'll be set up when the two come together. North Dakota State taking on North Carolina A&T. HBCU champion against the FCS champion. They'll kick the 2020 season off. I know all eyes are going to be glued on that one. That game, I'm beating the horn right now, should be televised, and it shouldn't be an 11 o'clock game. That needs to be, I would say, prime time, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. kickoff, but at least a 3 p.m. kickoff, so as many eyes you can get on that thing. That is going to be a huge, huge game. We had a huge weekend this past weekend. Basketball. Texas Southern gets the sweep over the Panthers. All hope's not dead. We'll have Byron Smith on later on the second half of the show. Our first scheduled guest will be head baseball coach and the liaison for the SWAC baseball head coaches, Coach Carlos James of Arkansas Pine Bluff. We'll talk some baseball with him on tonight. And we got a lot in store. A lot going on around the nation, or should I say PV Nation. Dr. Ruth Simmons dropped off a letter on the 7th of January. We reached out to her. She did respond. She named Dr. Timothy Sams as head of this AD search. And we got him lined up for an interview, exclusive interview, right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. So you stay tuned for that. We got a whole lot to talk about on tonight, and we might as well get this thing up and off the ground. We're going to take us a break, and when we come back, we'll get more into some of these scores and highlights on the weekend that was. You listen to the Mike Prince Show. Keep it where you got it, and we will be right back.
Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's DIVAH, feet.com. pvamu.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026.
Be the one with courage to fight child abuse.
All Texans must find the courage to fight child abuse.
Learn the signs and symptoms and report suspected abuse to appropriate authorities.
Learn and know these warning signs.
A child who undergoes changes in behavior, appetite, or routine.
Watch for unexplained injuries, a change in academic performance, or loss of interest by a child in regular activities.
Trust your instincts. If you suspect something, do something.
If you believe a child is in an abusive situation, please call the Texas Abuse Hotline at 1-800-252-5400.
Be the one with courage. To find your local Children's Advocacy Center, visit onewithcourage.org.
On behalf of children, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show Live, coming to you each and every day, and of course, especially on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. We talked about basketball, we talked about football, but now we're going to lead into our first guest of the evening. And anybody that knows anything about Mike Prince know that I'm a baseball holic, baseball junkie, baseball addict, whatever you want to call it. I am that. And without any further delay, we're going to present to some and introduce to others head baseball coach of the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions and the liaison for SWAC baseball head coach is none other than Carlos James. Happy New Year to you, Coach.
Happy New Year to you too, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thank you for making yourself available, man. Last time we talked, it was a lot of things turning over. Let's get us up to speed, and then we can kind of go into this forecast of the 2020 season that is so closely near to us.
Okay. As we mentioned before, like we talked earlier in the year, well, actually it was last year.
Yes, sir.
About the different, things that we had going on for us, trying to make our league better. A couple of things that we got done was, of course, we got the bat testing thing coming this year. And the good thing about that is every school's going to have their own bat testing machine, which will, level the playing field. Not saying that nobody was cheating or anything, but that's just the whole deal what NCAA going to in every stadium this year is just, being able to test bats prior to games. So every school will have that, and good thing about it is the conference office, helped with some of that cost as well, and getting that provided for each institution. So that was a good thing. And then the major thing that got passed here recently at least by the ADs is the scheduling for 21. That was proposed that we play everybody and do away with the East and West conferences and just have one conference just like everybody else, like they do in basketball and football. And so it got passed by the ADs. So we're waiting on the final okay from the presidents right now. And what we're hoping to do is maybe get the presidents to maybe vote on it a little bit sooner, because now this is, prime scheduling time for a lot of us, which was the reason why we wanted to get the schedule changed anyway, to be able to not only have a true champion regular season, but to be able to schedule better, which would help with our overall costs to our institutions.
We're talking right now with Carlos James, head baseball coach of the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions. And what's the official title? I don't want to misrepresent for what you represent for the head baseball coaches.
I'm the chairman of the baseball SWAC coaches committee.
Yes, sir, the chairman.
Yeah, I'm just the guy that's kind of speaking directly to Dr. McClellan and Jason.
Okay.
And then we have. But the good thing about it is, when you've been appointed to a role like that, you get everybody's input before you make a decision. It's just that when it comes down to it, you try to, do what's best for the conference if there's a swing vote or anything like that. So it's a good privilege that the other coaches bestowed upon me, and I don't take that lightly at all.
Very well, very well. Now, here's the question. How hard was it to sell dissolving the divisions to the coaches and then to the ADs?
It wasn't hard at all. I mean, the thing that we got going for us now is we got a good group of, not saying the old coaches were bad, I think they brought the league to a certain point, and it's up to us to move it on. But I think with all the young minds that we have and all the guys that have a forward look to the future, it was easy for us to put together an actual plan before giving it to the ADs. That's one thing we've been diligent about. Is anything that we want to get changed or we want to bring to the table, we make sure that we get our little subcommittees together and we try to explain it in the best way possible that's going to benefit the conference and each school as a whole. So I think it comes back to just proper planning and a lot of attention to detail, to where when we do present something, we just not present it, off the top of our head. We have a lot of data and a lot of things that go behind it before we present it to our ADs and presidents. Okay.
And so with that, was there any particular coach that came up with the concept, hey, man, let's try it this way? Or was it kind of like a unanimous deal? One thought this, and then the other one said, I was thinking it too. I just didn't want to be the one to stir it up. So how did that get off the ground?
Well, again, it's been one of those things that we've been wanting to do. I know I've been in the league 10 years. It's been something we've been wanting to do, but with the influx of new coaches and the ideas, and sometimes you just got to get more guys in the room that's for it, that can articulate it. And then the other thing you got going on for us too is, you got a lot of new ADs, a lot of new presidents, where things are now changing, and those presidents and ADs are more forward thinking as well. So it made it an easier deal for us to get together and put that thing together, just as long as we had all the answers that to the questions that they may ask. I think we can continue to do, really good things within our conference.
Okay. Now, I know this is going to have an impact on scheduling, which is why this is going to be rolling out in 2021 if it passes. But I'm thinking you got two hurdles out of the three. I really don't see why this would stumble on the final hurdle, but we'll get there when we get there. Now, with that being said, how would the scheduling for, like, say, the Alabama schools and the Texas schools play out when it comes to this type of format? And it will be just like basketball almost now. So the top 8 seeds would advance to the tournament, I'm assuming.
Correct. Right now the top 8 seeds would advance to the tournament. How we would do the scheduling right now, the plan is you would only have one trip in Houston and one trip in Alabama. And then it would rotate on a yearly basis. I'm not a schedule maker, but we got people in the conference that has assured us that they can get it done to where the travel is equal for everyone on a year-to-year basis.
Okay. And I know the last that we spoke, they were still trying to hammer out, without going into too many details, this is what I'm concerned about. Will the tournament be in New Orleans for 2020?
That would be decided on January 15th. And I think the last time we talked, the 15th was the date that the conference office set to make a final decision where the tournament would be held.
Okay. So I guess you and I are going to have a follow-up real soon then.
Sure. That That answer should be coming up. I think the 15th is next Wednesday. I mean, it's coming Wednesday. I think that's what it is.
Right. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. We're talking right now. Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, I guess, one thing I can tell you is, we still have New Orleans in play, and the other place that we were looking at. It's just a matter of can they get it done or not. But there is, we're not out there blind. We won't be there in a situation where all of a sudden you say, hey, they're having a tournament at Pine Bluff or Prairie View or Southern or Jackson. We got a concrete plan. If the place that wants us can't get ready in time.
Okay, man, that's exciting news, especially for those who love and appreciate baseball. We're talking live right now with Carlos James, committee chair for the SWAC baseball head coaches, and he is also the head baseball coach at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions. Now, Coach, this game and any coaching stratosphere that you're part of, it's about connections and who you know, and some coaches are more connected than other coaches, and it sounds like it's a band of brothers anyway. How do you help uplift another program's RPI ranking, because that's what this boils down to with quality scheduling? You might know a coach or two that might need a game that could help another coach who might not be as connected. Are you guys doing any things like that can help the RPI image for the entire conference, or is it kind of almost like every man for himself?
No, that was actually one of the reasons why we wanted to go to the schedule that we're doing now with playing everybody. Because actually it would add us an extra week in the beginning of the season, whereas you'd be able to go out and schedule more Division I opponents in your area, and it would eliminate those off weekends during your conference scheduling, which makes it hard for you to schedule another Division I team because everybody else is in conference during that time. So, by going to this scheduling, that was the mindset of improving our RPI, is giving us that extra week in the beginning before we start conference, which would be right in line with everybody else, which in turn give us an opportunity to play more teams within our area because they're looking for games during that time too. But here in the past, for the longest, we've started conference, third weekend of the season, and everybody else still in non-conference. And then we have those open weekends during conference, and then they're in conference. So now we're having to go far off or play NAIA or Division II or junior college in some instances, to fill those dates. So just the overall scheduling has helped that problem there.
Okay. And so it's going to strengthen, bring more credibility, and more importantly, bump up that RPI. Even if it's a few points here and there, every little bit helps.
Oh, it helps tremendously. Then I think I spoke about it before. The conference office has also come up with a scheduling formula as well that we'll use, that they'll get done for us in baseball, where they'll give us some ideas on how to schedule and who to schedule, in our area for Division I concern. That's going to help our overall conference's RPI.
Okay. Now back to your earlier statement about the BAT tester, and the conference has helped the institutions get this. Can you describe this apparatus and possibly the cost of this thing? And is it something that's going to be used at the beginning of every series, or is it each game of the series? And can it be something randomly checked throughout the course of a game?
Well, one thing, it'll be used at the beginning of every series, or every conference series, every non-conference series, and every midweek game. Your bats will be tested, by your administration and the other team's designated person. And then if the bat doesn't pass, the home team will pick the bat up and we'll return it at the end of the contest.
Okay.
Or in our case, it will be the end of the weekend series. Then you'll get that bat back that didn't pass.
Okay.
So what the bat tester machine actually does is you actually get rings that's of a certain size. that you can put on top of your you put on the bats, and if the ring goes on the bat and it fits well, then the next step is to put it into the machine, which would then measure the density of the bat. That'll measure if it has been tampered with or anything like that. So there's two processes to it. If it doesn't pass the ring test, then it don't even get a chance to get put into the machine at all. And then at that point, the bat would be taken. But every bat that does pass, you'll be given a sticker of the home team logo. And when you come to the plate during the game, that sticker must remain on that bat. You can't come to the plate with another bat that hadn't been tested during the series. That's illegal. And there are certain rules that are put in place to handle that as well.
Okay. Now, here's a question that I have. If a bat is identified as illegal at the start of a series, do you go as far as to see who that bat belonged to? And is there like
No.
Oh, okay. You just kind of cast it to the side.
You just confiscate it. Just say if I came to Prairie View and I had an illegal bat, you guys would take it up and keep it until the end of the series. And then on our way out, we'll get the bat back as we leave.
Okay, my question is, if the bat's illegal, why do you get it back?
Because it's your property. I mean, you can do what you think. Because you got to think about it. Sometimes they may become illegal because they get dented up or they're on the bus, something happens to it. Then you can always send it back because most of us got bat contracts. So we give it back to you. If you know if it's illegal, you could just send it back to your bat company and they'll send you a new one. Okay.
And I guess what I was more trying to allude to, if there's a repeated, offender, they keep having these illegal bats, is there anything in place to address that?
No, the only thing right now that's in there is that you discard the bat and the home team or that team keeps the bat until the series is over. If you're the home team, there's going to be another representative from the visiting team there. If that bat doesn't pass, even at your home, you can't use it.
Okay. And how long does this process take per bat to run it through this test?
Oh, it doesn't take 30 seconds good.
Okay.
It's not a long deal. I guess the whole process will probably take 15 minutes before a game.
So then if you have like a 1 p.m. pitch, say to start, what is it, 3 p.m. on Fridays and 1 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays? So if you got
we're doing before batting practice even start.
Okay. So this would be like a pre-warm-up type deal.
Yeah, it's done as soon as the teams arrive at the stadium. Before batting practice is taken or anything like that, the bats are tested.
Okay.
And then in most cases, because we do get there a day early, we could test the bats the day before.
Okay, very good. Now, I also know that there was also some discussions about the pitch clock. Is that going to be in place for 2020, or is that going to be a 2021 deal?
That's going to be something here in the near future, probably 21 or 22. That's something that we've taken a look at as well. That's going to be coming down the pipe that we will eventually have in all of our stadiums is a pitch clock. Maybe, in that case, it's probably going to be two. You have one behind home plate and one in the outfield where it could be seen.
Okay. Now, there's a lot of movement going on, and it's a lot of, as they say, new levels that baseball is reaching, in particular from the SWAC conference. With all this movement that's going on, there's also been a talk about the third paid assistant from baseball, and I believe it's been recently, or it's closer now to being passed. They was trying to do the third paid assistant and then get up to 22 scholarships. Realistically, how far would that set back FCS programs? I'm not just going to say HBCU programs, but FCS programs. If this thing goes to pass, like they're strategic, they even broke it up now where it's going to be two entities instead of 2 for 1.
Well, first of all, it was shot down, and then now it's coming back on the ballot. to be passed. So we thought it was going to be 3 years before we had to even vote on it again. So it's kind of coming back up. And like you said, it's something that's being pushed by the bigger schools. And I think it's, just my opinion, and I'm not saying this, based on the rest of the coaches in my conference, it's a great thing for baseball to have the extra assistant. It's just not about the pay. It's more about the ratio to coaches to student athletes. You got to look at it. Baseball teams, we got 35 players. And in most instances at our level, we only got 2 paid coaches. Well, if you could add that third coach, now you can get better development, better teaching for your student athletes. We always talk about student athlete welfare, right? And you got to think about a baseball player, whether it's at Power 5 or a SWAC school, 99% of them pay to go to school. Unlike their counterparts in basketball and football, they have to pay to go to school, but they get less development and less teaching because we don't pay enough assistants to be able to teach them what they need while they're there. So is that fair when you're talking about the student athlete experience? So I kind of look at it in a different way and say that I think there's a need to have a third paid assistant at all of our schools.
Okay.
To be able to help with that ratio.
Now, how do you see if the 22 scholarships are passed through, what effect would that have on the rest of the FCS world?
Well, I think it's going to be one of those deals where we're going to end up going to another division of Division One. You're going to probably have that Power 5 group, and then you're going to have a mid-major, and then you're going to probably have a lower tier D1, postseason and World Series. Because I just don't think right now every school can afford to, do 22 scholarships. It's going to take some really, good financial preparation to be able to do that at most FCS schools. But you would be surprised, though. It would be some schools that, like I would do if I was in charge, put more money into baseball, into a smaller school, so that I can have more of a national presence, other than basketball and football.
Right.
I know that's taboo to say. In the SWAC or most FCS schools, but if some school gets it, you can see how Coastal Carolina and Long Beach State and Fresno State, those schools like that, Pepperdine, Long Beach, they jump up there and they become powerhouses when they put money into baseball.
Right. Well, it's the only sport that really and truly you could level the playing field with the way things are right now if it's just a little bit more attention paid in that direction. But man, that's something we're going to have to probably get together with in a whole nother scenario, because I'm actually out of time on this segment today, because you always bring a wealth of knowledge, man, and I appreciate you very, very much. I know that the season is on the countdown right now. What are we about, 4 weeks out right now? 3 to 4 weeks out?
Yeah, it's a fun.
It's 3 or 4 weeks out. And of course, we plan to get some baseball reports from you, man, so we can share with the rest of the nation of what's going on in the world of the Golden Lion. And we look forward to having some more dialogue, especially as things develop. Is that all right?
That's cool.
All right. I like that. That's cool. He's a cool fella himself. Hey, Coach, we appreciate you very much. We're going to take us a break right now. We'll come back. We want to thank Coach Carlos James for being a part of us here on the Mike Prince Live tonight here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Coach Byron Smith of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers basketball. Had a rough week against Texas Southern, but you know what they say, you live to fight another day. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's DIVAH feet.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026.
Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas.
One voice. It can get the point across, but it only carries so far. Add a voice. It's richer, louder, but that has limits too. Add a third voice. It's even more powerful. Add another, and another, and many, many more, and we are stronger than ever. That's the power of a community coalition. They help community groups, faith groups, civic organizations, PTAs, employers, and many others in your community organize their resources and focus them where they're needed most, like fighting to keep kids away from drugs. Ask a group that you belong to if they should belong to a community coalition. It's easy to get involved. Visit helpyourcommunity.org and they'll tell you exactly how your group can help. That's helpyourcommunity.org, because you get more when we get together. Brought to you by the Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Ad Council.
This broadcast has been made possible by the support of the Prairie View Athletic Club. The Prairie View Athletic Club is a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics. For more information on becoming a member of the Prairie View Athletic Club, send your email to pvathletic.club@gmail.com. That email address again is pvathletic.club@gmail.com. Prairie View Athletic Club, a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics.
This is Al Wash with ALW Entertainment, the promoter of the State Fair Classic, and I want y'all to keep your dial because I listen to the Open Mic Network every day. Keep the dial locked in.
Chris, can you put the video game controller down for a second?
I can talk and play. Oh, I'm totally annihilating this punk kid in Nebraska.
I just feel like you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
Well, you still ride your skateboard to work. There's the comic book collection, the race car bed.
Look, I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I picked up a few savings tips at feedthepig.org. I have control over my financial life now, and that feels pretty grown up.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. For free ideas and easy tips on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
So, I bet I look like a grown-up to you now.
Well, except for the footy pajamas, I'd have to agree.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to the Mike Prince Show, live here Sunday nights, right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We want to thank our first guest of the night, Coach Carlos James, talking about some of the changes that are coming toward baseball, which I think is going to be actually good for baseball, doing away with the East and the West. Almost, well, it's not almost, but it's exactly what they did with basketball. Now, I guess the question is going to be, is that going to be the future of basketball? I mean, not basketball, but football. Instead of having an East and a West, you just line everybody up. Whoever's the top dog is the top dog, and que sera, sera. You could still, even if you wanted to, have a championship game. Number one play number two. and let it settle that way. That'll be interesting to see how all of that will unfold. A lot of good information. I'm going to be interested to see about this bat testing ring, to see how things work out with that. And I'm hoping that there won't be a lot of offenders. You know, people will do whatever they can to get an edge, and you'll be amazed at some of the things that people do to try to alter these bats that are already lethal. A few years ago, they did deaden the aluminum bats. Well, there were a lot of deaths on the playing field that probably went under the radar, but they had to look at the overall well-being, health, and safety of these student athletes, and so they went back and altered that. But someone is going to always look to get an edge, so we'll keep a close tab on that, how things are developing. And then I almost said shot clock, but the pitcher's clock is going to be, I believe it was 20 or 25 seconds that you had in between pitches to help speed up the process of the game. That'll be injected in 21-22. So it's a lot of good stuff that's going on. We're going to be talking with Byron Smith here in a little bit. We got him lined up for a little bit further on in the segment of the show. But the Panthers lost on this past weekend against Texas Southern in round one. 71-67 was the final score. And a good turnout, a surprising turnout for this game to be in January. In most cases, when these two teams meet, they flip-flop going back and forth, and you'll meet in January and come right back in February. And usually the team that hosts in January gets the short end of the stick because they are dealing with an event where the students are still out on vacation, and it's not usually a strong crowd. But in the case of Prairie View, Texas Southern, over 5,100 people reported at the event. Lively turnout, lively event, and a well-played game. Armstrong still on the injured reserve, and the Tigers were able to pull things off with that. On the women's side of things, the Panthers still somewhat struggling, having some growing pains, a lot of freshmen, but I'm not panicked nor worried about the development of the women's side of things. Coach Sandy Pugh knows what she's doing, just as Byron Smith. They know what they're doing, and you put their trust in and let them continue to move and build on. We're getting closer now to our signing day. I believe it is scheduled for February the 5th, and got some information and notice that there's going to be a National Signing Day event for Panthers football, of course, led by the Ghost himself, Coach Eric Dooley, in the Houston area. And so they are going to be focused on that. And you get all kinds of stuff. And let me tell you, I'm not real big on Twitter. I am on Twitter because it's part of my job requirement. But you got to be careful. Everything that you hear, you can't take it as truth. Even on Twitter with these kids, they make up these fake accounts and they'll tweet this and tweet that, and they have multiple accounts. They're almost like Sybil, and they got stuff all over the place. But it is what it is, and they do not reign true in most cases. So as the old saying goes, buyer beware. And speaking of buyer beware, the NFL playoffs have been off the charts. I know that H-Town don't want to hear this, but the Texans blew that game. 24-0 in the first quarter. You give up 28 points in the second quarter, 41 unanswered points, and you blow that game. Now, I know Romeo is going to take the fall. The handwriting's on the wall, but you have got to look at O'Brien. There is absolutely no reason for you to be trying to fake punt that time of the game to give the home team any type of momentum. And if it was not for the botched fourth down play where they had to call a timeout, they were about to blow another opportunity and go for it instead of taking the points to extend your lead. You're up 21-0 and you're contemplating on whether or not you need to go for it, and you're in well enough field goal range to make it 24-0. Not that it really mattered as an end result. But you're talking about getting tight in big moments. Wow. And I know some of you are listening, be like, hey, Mike, man, you're still a fan. What you talking about? I appreciate good football, too. And it was feast or famine with the Texans on today's performance. Now, when it comes down to it, you have the Titans traveling to Kansas City and Green Bay going out to Frisco. Interesting matchup. These are about matchups as far as I'm concerned. Kansas City has a high explosive offense. No doubt about it. But their defense is suspect. And with the run attack that I'm going to say Mr. Henry, because the way he's been running, it is absolute all respect due his way. He has been running like a man on a mission. I heard Phil Simms say something that in my time of here on earth, I have never heard this comparison, and it blew me away, and it had the perfect fit. Now, Phil Simms said that this brother, Derrick Henry, is the modern day Jim Brown. When you look at the size and the power and the speed that Jim Brown ran when he played, it was the nail on the head. I've witnessed Earl Campbell. I've witnessed Barry Sanders, but I wouldn't put Barry Sanders as a power back. I've witnessed Eric Dickerson. I've witnessed, even though Franco was more of a big finesse back. Jerome Bettis, none of these guys did what this man is doing other than Jim Brown. And when I heard that, I immediately connected with that. I was like, you know what? That was a true analysis. And I'm saying all that with the defense and the confidence that the Titans are playing with right now, I'm not picking them just yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if they were to go to Arrowhead Stadium and take care of business yet again. Now, on the NFC side of things, it's a bit more complicated, but not as complicated. I believe that Frisco, no doubt about it, just as Richard Sherman believes, they are the big dog in the NFC. But Aaron Rodgers is still a bad dude. And because he's still a bad dude, man, there is nothing that you can just take for granted when it comes to this dude. The Packers, they had to fight at the end tonight to hold off the Seahawks. But they have been probably the most quiet 14-3 team that I can remember. And this is going to be a very epic buy. I'm going to go out there right now. I might as well get my pick out the way right now so I don't even have to worry about this. I believe that the Titans are going to put up a fight and make it close, and they are going to have the Chiefs biting their nails. But there might just be enough Mahomes magic and enough of favor leaning toward Andy Reid that Kansas City and Green Bay will meet for a throwback Super Bowl. And I think it's good for football that is celebrating its 100th year. Why not have a throwback Super Bowl? And you know, we got some conspiracy theorists out there. They might say that's probably what they was working on anyway. But we'll see. I think they originally had a Super Bowl. I want to say Super Bowl IV it was that they met. Hank Stram against the Green Bay Packers, I believe it was. Or it might have been the Minnesota Vikings. I don't remember. I was barely around myself. But that would be a good throwback Super Bowl. We'll see how it unfolds. We're going to take us another break. We come back. Hopefully we can catch up with Coach Byron Smith and hear his analysis and feedback from the game that was against the Texas Southern Tigers. You listen to the Mike Prince Show live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
One voice. It can get the point across, but it only carries so far. Add a voice. It's richer, louder, but that has limits too. Add a third voice. It's even more powerful. Add another, and another, and many, many more. And we are stronger than ever. That's the power of a community coalition. They help community groups, faith groups, civic organizations, PTAs, employers, and many others in your community organize their resources and focus them where they're needed most, like fighting to keep kids away from drugs. Ask a group that you belong to if they should belong to a community coalition. It's easy to get involved. Visit helpyourcommunity.org and they'll tell you exactly how your group can help. That's helpyourcommunity.org, because you get more when we get together. Brought to you by the Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Ad Council.
Broadcasters come into our lives on radio and TV, bringing us information and entertainment. Broadcasters are there for us, but who is there for them when they fall on hard times? The Broadcasters Foundation of America provides financial assistance to broadcasters in acute need due to a critical illness, accident, or other serious misfortune. If you know of a broadcaster on the air or behind the scenes who may need our help, please share our message. Visit broadcastersfoundation.org.
I present to you 3 of the fiercest subjects ever assembled in the cage of doom. First, the brain-wrenching behemoth Algebra 2, weighing in at a mind-boggling 800 pounds. Foreign languages! The multilingual international sensation capable of tossing you clear across the Atlantic. And finally, biology. More ferocious than formaldehyde, she'll dissect you 1 chromosome at a time. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Yeah, I'll do it. Me too. I'm in. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college. Find out which classes you need at knowhowtogo.org.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
Have sports, we'll travel. The Open Mic Broadcast Network serving student athletes from Little League, high school, and collegiate coverage right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. From coast to coast, from dusk till dawn. You can catch all student athletic action right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the station designed with you in mind. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the voice of student athletics.
And welcome back to the Mike Prince Show Live, Sunday night edition here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. So far, we've had Coach Carlos James talk to us about the upcoming changes in the world of baseball on the collegiate angle. We had scheduled Coach Byron Smith, got in contact with him, had something to come up, and we're going to try to get him in, but if not, we're going to have to reschedule that event. But we're going to kind of give you a recap on things that were when it comes to the weekend of basketball. Panthers losing to Texas Southern by the score of 71-67 on Saturday night in front of 5,100 screaming Maroon and Gray Tiger fans. And that game actually was a thriller. It was a thriller. Grambling defeats Southern University, who are now kind of looking on the outside in. They lost 61-56. Jackson State was victorious over Alcorn by the score of 76-65. Alabama A&M was 10 points better than Arkansas Pine Bluff, 59-49. And Mississippi Valley fell short to Alabama State by the score of 81-75. So when we go through these things right now, when it's still early, you cannot get, as they say, too overly excited about the things that are going on right now. But when you look at the conference standing right now, Grambling is at 3-0 on the men's side of things. You have Prairie View, Alabama A&M, Texas Southern, and Jackson State all at 2-1. Arkansas Pine Bluff is at 1-1. Alcorn State's at 1-2. Alabama State's at 1-2. Mississippi Valley's at 0-3, and Mississippi Valley's at 0-2, and Southern is at 0-3. And I know that when I spoke with my beloved brother, Carlos Brown, he said it's not necessarily time to panic just yet. But when you look at this thing, if it's not yet, it's concerns is maybe what I should put. Concerns. Now, Monday's slate of action is going to have Jackson State on the road at Southern. This is going to be a huge game for Coach Woods and company. They cannot surely go 0-4. Then you have Mississippi Valley will be at Alabama A&M. Arkansas Pine Bluff will be at Alabama State. Of course, Texas Southern and Prairie View will have that Monday off as they get ready. And then that following week, you're going to have on Saturday, Alcorn will be at Mississippi Valley. Alabama State will be at Alabama A&M. Prairie View will be at Grambling. Texas Southern will be at Jackson State. And Southern will be at Arkansas Pine Bluff. So that critical run, yet again, will be picking up. In the case of Panthers, you win at home, split on the road is the theory that is shared. So you got to figure the goal, of course, is to win both games when you take this road trip against Grambling and Southern. And you will have an opportunity to come back in a little bit better shape. Grambling right now ahead of you, you'll be able to take care of them head to head and then work this thing out along the road. But one thing that I was going to try to share with Coach Smith on tonight, found an article where Prairie View is in the top 10 as far as Division I basketball programs with consecutive home wins, and they're right at 15. And I think that had them somewhere either in 6th, 7th spot of the top 10, and I thought that was very interesting and very intriguing. Now it's about getting people to witness the product that Prairie View has developed under the leadership of Coach Byron Smith. We might not be able to get them in on today due to the fact that we're running out of time, but we will do what we can while we can. Meanwhile, on the flip side of things, women's basketball program, all is not lost just yet. 0-3, rough start, not the desired start for Coach Sandy Pugh. But Sandy Pugh is a gamer, and she knows how to put it together, and she is in that wave period of putting things together. A lot of freshmen, and if you ever kept up with a Sandy Pugh coach-led team, she believes in building up through them freshmen, and so them freshmen have to earn their SWAC hours, if you allow me to put it in that manner, and the rest will take care of itself. Another note in regards of Prairie View athletics is Dr. Ruth Simmons, president of Prairie View A&M University, has released a letter implicating that it's time to intensify the athletic director search. And we have been granted access for an exclusive interview with Dr. Timothy Sams, who will be the head of that committee search. And I can't wait to hear the vision. I'm sure PV Nation is just as excited to hear the vision and the direction in which this ship will attempt to sail. So there's a lot going on, and there's always something brewing. And that's one of the challenges, if you would, of doing live broadcasts. You never know what can happen. You never know what can show, what cannot show. But we're hoping it all is well with Coach Smith, and we're hoping that all is well with those who came to hear from Coach Smith. But it appears it won't be happening this evening. But I can assure you we will be working on it. I want to give you an opportunity to remind you to help us build our YouTube channel, the Open Mic Broadcast Network. You can simply go to Open Mic Broadcast Network, and that is the channel name. Subscribe and hit the little bell when you subscribe so you can keep up with any updates that we have. We come to you each and every day with the Mike Prince Show, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. The Carlos Brown Show, Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Central Standard Time. We have She Say Sports by Miss Sonja Stamps. She's featured on Fridays right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And we got Brother B.J. Jones coming to us. Going to be on Sunday nights with the Sports Lounge. Starting around 7:30 p.m. time on the Central Standard Zone. So as I mentioned, it's a lot going on, and the clock is always moving. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? My clock tells me that I am running out of time for tonight. We want to thank our sponsors, the Prairie View Athletic Club. You can become a part of the Prairie View Athletic Club by dialing 936-857-5711, and they'll take great good care of you. Help us continue to help the support of Prairie View Athletics. I want to thank our other good sponsors, Diva Skin Conditioner. Anybody that's having problems with skin conditions, especially that is caused by diabetes, you need to go to the website divafeet.com, D-I-V-A-H, feet.com. It's a money-back guarantee. You have absolutely nothing to lose. And we want to thank Attorney Lee Van Richardson of Hempstead, Texas. You may need a lawyer today. You might need one tomorrow. Lee Van is the one to call, 979-826-8008. I am going to exit stage left for right now. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Be sure to join us on Monday morning beginning at 10 a.m. where we can tell the rest of the story. But right now, I'm going to get out of here, exit stage left. Thank you guys so much for joining in with us. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.